Urgent Dallas Cowboys fans, do not miss this. What just happened? You won't believe this one. But before we reveal the big news, make sure to subscribe to the channel because here we bring you daily videos with the latest Dallas Cowboys updates. And to not miss anything, activate the notifications. Hey Cowboys fans, today we've got a story that's shaping up to be one of the most intriguing and potentially game-changing developments of this NFL season. We're talking about a decision that could have lasting implications for the Dallas Cowboys offense, their roster management, and ultimately their playoff chances. You see, the Cowboys' recent game against the Detroit Lions saw some surprising performances, especially from a player many might not have expected to be a focal point, Ryan Floweroi. And as you'll see, this isn't just about one game. It's about what this could mean for the future of the team, especially with the offseason now looming on the horizon. Let's start by revisiting what happened last week. The Cowboys suffered a tough loss to the Lions, and while many fans and analysts focused on the defensive struggles, and honestly, they're not wrong to do so, there's a lot more to unpack here. The offense, which has often been characterized by the stellar play of C.D. Lamb and the emerging contributions of George Pickens, showed us something unexpected in that game. Ryan Floweroi, who's been somewhat of a fringe player on this roster, had a breakout performance that might just force the Cowboys' coaching staff and management to reevaluate their offseason plans. Floweroi's game against Detroit was eye-opening. He was targeted 13 times, a number that immediately grabs your attention because it's the most targets he's seen since the Week 5 matchup with the Jets. That's a significant increase, and it signals that the coaching staff, particularly Ryan Floweroi himself, has earned a certain level of trust from Dak Prescott. Remember, Dak isn't just throwing to anyone. He's known for his chemistry and trust in his primary targets. The fact that he was willing to give Floweroi 13 targets in a critical game suggests a lot. It's not just a one-off, it's a statement. Now, let's break down what Floweroi actually did with those targets. He amassed 115 yards, with a remarkable 42 yards coming from a single play, a big chunk that highlights his ability to make explosive plays when called upon. But what's even more interesting is the consistency he's shown in recent weeks. Despite limited usage earlier in the season, Floweroi has now accumulated 29 catches for 349 yards and 3 touchdowns. That's impressive considering he wasn't a major part of the offense earlier. It signals that perhaps he's finally hitting his stride and the coaching staff is recognizing his potential. And here's the kicker. Ryan Floweroi is on a rookie contract that runs through 2027. That means from a financial perspective, the Cowboys have a valuable and affordable player who's proven he can produce on the field. Meanwhile, Jalen Tolbert, who's been on an expiring contract, now faces a very different future. The recent performance of Floweroi makes it clear that the team has options at wide receiver, and the decision on Tolbert's future could be more straightforward than many initially thought. But let's not forget the backdrop here. Jalen Tolbert was once seen as a potential breakout star for the Cowboys, a player with a lot of promise coming out of South Alabama. He's had moments, sure, flashes of talent, but consistency and production have been elusive. Since the Week 5 game against the Jets, Tolbert's usage has dwindled, and he's been largely absent from the offense. And yet in that game against Detroit, Floweroi's emergence has cast a shadow over Tolbert's prospects. It's almost a microcosm of the larger issue. The Cowboys' receiver depth chart is competitive, and with the team's focus on maximizing their offensive efficiency, they're clearly leaning toward players who can produce immediately. Now, Stephen Jones, the EVP of the Cowboys, has publicly praised Ryan Floweroi, emphasizing how he's becoming a real threat in the offensive game plan this year. That's not just a casual compliment. It's a strategic message. The front office and coaching staff are recognizing Floweroi's contributions and, more importantly, seeing him as a potential piece for the future. It's also worth noting that George Pickens, who's been a key player alongside Lamb, will not have a bad game again, at least that's the hope. But the reality is, with a duo like Lamb and Pickens, the offense has an excellent foundation. However, Floweroi's rising role indicates that the Cowboys want to diversify their options, especially behind those two stars. So what does all this mean for the upcoming offseason? Well, if you're Jerry Jones, and let's be honest, he's always thinking about roster building, this decision becomes almost automatic. With Floweroi on a rookie contract through 2027 and Tolbert potentially hitting unrestricted free agency, the Cowboys have a clear choice. Prioritize the players who are currently producing and who have shown they can be reliable targets in big moments. Floweroi's emergence makes him an easy priority, a no-brainer for the front office. But what about Tolbert? That's where things get interesting. Do the Cowboys try to re-sign him? Do they explore other options in free agency or the draft? Or do they simply let him go, especially if Floweroi continues to develop? Let's pause here for a moment and consider the context of the Cowboys' roster management philosophy. Historically, Jerry Jones has been aggressive in making moves that bolster the team's chances, especially when it comes to offensive weapons. The recent performance of Floweroi, coupled with the team's current roster situation, suggests that the Cowboys may be leaning toward a more pragmatic approach, sticking with players who have proven their worth, rather than gambling on younger, unproven talent. And that's a smart move, especially considering how crucial the playoff push is this season. Now, speaking of the playoff picture, the Cowboys' recent loss to the Lions keeps their postseason hopes alive, but also highlights the importance of every game moving forward. With the NFC East title still within reach, thanks to the Eagles' loss to the Chargers, Dallas needs all their offensive weapons firing on all cylinders. Floweroi in this scenario could be the secret weapon they've been waiting for. His ability to step up in critical moments can be the difference between an early playoff exit and a deep run. And let's not forget the broader implications here. This isn't just about one player's performance, it's about the message it sends to the entire team. When a player like Floweroi steps up and earns the trust of Dak Prescott, it raises the level of competition and motivation within the locker room. It signals to everyone that effort, perseverance, and seizing opportunities can lead to recognition and playing time. That kind of environment is crucial for a team vying for a championship. Now, how does this compare with other teams and their wide receiver situations? Well, in the NFL, depth and versatility at receiver are often what separate playoff teams from the rest. The Cowboys have traditionally relied heavily on Lamb as their primary weapon, but the emergence of Floweroi adds a new dimension. It's reminiscent of some of the most successful teams that have multiple options, forcing defenses to game plan differently. Imagine a scenario where Prescott can confidently throw to Lamb, Pickens, or Floweroi, depending on the coverage. That kind of flexibility is a nightmare for defenders and a dream for offensive coordinators. Looking ahead, the future of this Cowboys offense is fascinating. The team has a solid core with C.D. Lamb at the forefront, and the development of players like Floweroi could significantly impact their postseason run. If Floweroi continues to grow and gains more consistent targets, he could become a reliable weapon in critical moments, especially in third-down situations or red zone plays. Plus, if the team manages to re-sign him or find a way to keep him in Dallas beyond this season, that would be a major win. In terms of scheme and tactical adjustments, the coaching staff might now be more inclined to incorporate Floweroi into their game plans, especially given his recent success. It's possible we could see more targeted plays designed to exploit his strengths, such as quick routes or deep shots. This would also help alleviate some of the pressure on Lamb, who's been the focal point of the offense, and provide Prescott with more options to keep defenses guessing. The upcoming games will be critical. The Cowboys face a challenging schedule ahead, and their ability to maintain this offensive momentum, with Floweroi, Pickens, and Lamb all contributing, could be the key to clinching the NFC East title. The rivalry with the Eagles looms large, especially considering that the division title and the playoff positioning are still up for grabs. If the Cowboys can win out and the Eagles stumble, which, given their tough remaining opponents like the Raiders, Commanders, and Bills, isn't out of the realm of possibility, Dallas could find itself in a prime spot come January. Now, it's worth mentioning that this entire situation underscores the importance of roster depth and player development. The NFL season is a grind, and injuries or slumps can change the landscape overnight. Having players like Floweroi step up when needed is invaluable, and it speaks volumes about the coaching staff's ability to identify and nurture talent. The Cowboys' front office, particularly Jerry Jones, will have a lot to consider in the offseason, balancing the need to retain emerging players like Floweroi while making strategic moves at other positions. As we analyze all of this, it's impossible not to feel a sense of anticipation. Could Floweroi be the X factor that propels Dallas into the playoffs and beyond? Will Talbot find a way to carve out a bigger role, or will the team look elsewhere? These questions are what make following the Cowboys so exciting right now. We're on the cusp of a crucial stretch, and everything points to this being one of the most pivotal moments of the season. And before we wrap up, let's reflect for a moment. The NFL is a league of moments, and sometimes a single game can redefine a player's career and a team's trajectory. Ryan Flowernoi's recent explosion could very well be that defining moment for him, and perhaps the turning point for the Cowboys' offensive identity. With the playoffs approaching, every play, every decision, and every player's effort counts more than ever. The question is, will the Cowboys capitalize on this newfound momentum? Will Floweroi continue to emerge as a reliable threat? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain. The Dallas Cowboys are a team to watch. And this story is far from over. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Dallas Cowboys news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and IT makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let's continue with the big reveal. Now let's project into the future. If Floweroi's recent performance is any indication, the Cowboys' offense could be entering a new phase, one where depth and versatility become the team's greatest assets. The coaching staff, led by Mike McCarthy, will undoubtedly be looking to maximize this momentum, possibly designing plays that leverage Floweroi's speed and playmaking ability. Meanwhile, the front office will be crunching numbers, considering whether to extend his rookie deal or negotiate a new contract that secures his future in Dallas. The same logic applies to George Pickens, who's been a consistent contributor and a key target. His presence alongside Lamb and Floweroi creates a formidable trio that defenses will struggle to contain. If Prescott maintains his high level of play and continues to develop chemistry with these receivers, the Cowboys could become one of the most dynamic offenses in the league. But it's not just about the offense. The defense, which has faced its own challenges this season, will need to tighten up in the coming weeks. The playoff push depends on all phases of the game clicking together. However, the offensive turnaround, highlighted by Floweroi's rise, could be what keeps Dallas in the hunt until the very end. The team's resilience and ability to adapt will be tested in the crucial games ahead, especially when facing division rivals and potential playoff opponents. And what about the rivalry with the Eagles? That game, which could decide the division champion, looms large on the horizon. If the Cowboys can continue to develop their offensive weapons and build on these recent performances, they might just have enough to outlast Philadelphia. Remember, the Eagles still have some tough contests remaining, including games against the Raiders, Commanders twice, and the Bills. If Dallas can win their remaining games and hope for a slip-up by Philly, the division title could very well come down to the wire. This leads us to think about the bigger picture. For years, the Cowboys have been chasing that elusive Super Bowl, and each season feels like a new opportunity. The emergence of Floweroi as a reliable target could be the spark that ignites a deeper playoff run. It's about seizing opportunities when they come and recognizing talent when it's right in front of you. Dallas's front office, with Jerry Jones at the helm, has historically been aggressive in making moves that boost their chances. This offseason, they might see Floweroi's recent rise as a sign to double down on their investment in young talent rather than chasing expensive free agents. In the end, the most exciting part of all this is the unpredictability. The NFL is a league where momentum can shift quickly, and a player's breakout can change the entire narrative of a season. Floweroi's recent game has certainly caught everyone's attention, but the real question is, can he sustain this level of play? Will the coaching staff continue to trust him in high-pressure situations? And most importantly, can the Cowboys capitalize on this momentum to make a deep playoff run? These are the questions that keep us on the edge of our seats. So, as we look forward to the upcoming weeks, it's worth pondering how this story will unfold. Will Floweroi become a household name for Cowboys fans? Could he be the secret weapon that pushes Dallas into the postseason and beyond? Or will we see other players emerge as the season progresses? Whatever happens, one thing is clear. The narrative of the 2023 Dallas Cowboys is more exciting than ever, and we're all here for it. The journey is just beginning, and the next chapters are bound to be filled with drama, surprises, and unforgettable moments. And now, Dallas Cowboys fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Do you believe Ryan Floweroi has what it takes to be a consistent weapon for the team? Will Talbot find a way to turn things around, or is his time in Dallas coming to an end? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Cowboys as a whole. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, analysis, and insights. So stay tuned, keep the faith, and let's see how this story unfolds together. And now, Dallas Cowboys fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Dallas Cowboys. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Dallas Cowboys news.